In this last section of chapter 6, we're going to talk about franchising. Franchising is one of the most popular ways of operating. It is a licensing agreement under which a franchisor allows the franchisee to use its name, trademark, product, business methods, and other property in exchange for monetary payments and other considerations. There are approximately 732,000 businesses that are franchises in the United States. A franchisor is the business entity in the franchise relationship. They're the ones that are allowing the franchisee to use its resources. The franchisee is the party in a franchise relationship that pays that fee to use the resources of the franchisor. And one way to remember this is franchisor, OR, owns the resources. So the franchisor owns the resources. And then the franchisee, may I see your resources. So the franchisee is asking for the resources. I don't know if that helps you, but that's just a quick way to remember franchisor. So one type of arrangement is the distributorship, and then the other is the most common, which is the business format franchise. The distributorship is an arrangement where the franchisor makes the product and licenses the franchisee to sell it. An example here would be a arrangement where the automaker and the dealership agree, and so the automaker makes it and the dealership sells the car. So with the business format franchise, this agreement, the franchisee is getting the right to use the name, the trademark, and business and production methods of the franchisor. And this is the most common example that we use a lot is McDonald's. If you go to McDonald's, they're going to sell the same products and use the same advertising, especially within a region. So McDonald's does not own the business individually, but they control how the business operates. So franchising is growing in today's economy, and it's growing into foreign markets, and business methods have to be adjusted because of differences in culture and other factors. So you'll see with McDonald's, if you go to another country, the menu will be adapted. Not just the menu, but that's just one in particular that I can think of. And I remember in our book one year, it's been years ago, it talked about, we looked at the menus of McDonald's in different places, and some of it was very strange for us, but of course, for that culture, that was the norm. And an interesting statistic here is women are sole owners of 26% of all franchises, and then minority participation has grown consistently over the past 20 years. Here are some advantages and disadvantages. Franchising is less risky because it offers access to a proven business and product. So think about, it's already set all of this up and has experience and knows how to run the business. And with a franchisee, purchasing the franchise from the franchisor, what usually happens is they're trained, and we call it, a lot of places call it corporate. So corporate comes in and and trains the employees. Of course, brand recognition. If you bought a Chick-fil-A right now, it wouldn't be a new business because everyone knows that particular business. For example, at Northwest Community College, they're about to open a Chick-fil-A on campus. Well, that's a big deal in a town that does not have a Chick-fil-A. Brand recognition is definitely an advantage. It's easier, you get easier access to funding because banks and financial institutions, they are going to lend to a well-established business. Then disadvantages, one of the disadvantages can be the cost, the franchise fee. Then there will be other fees, so it can be costly. And the lack of control. The franchisor has most of the control. The franchisee does not have much control. A negative halo effect. A single franchisee's mistakes will harm or can harm the entire franchise. And franchise agreements restrict the franchisee's territory. And poor execution. Sometimes the franchisor does a bad job of training and doing all the things that it's required to do. So when you enter into a franchise agreement, it's a contract. And it's a contract between the franchisor and the franchisee. And it's going to list out the duties and responsibilities of both parties. And then a franchise disclosure document, and it is given to the franchisee, and it should be given to them at least 14 calendar days before the franchise agreement is signed. So it's a detailed description for the franchisee to read over. So here are the key terms in a franchise agreement. Terms and conditions. This is the right to use the franchisor's trademark, the patents, signage, and also any restrictions on those rights. Then you have fees and other payments. This is fees the franchisee has to pay to use the franchisor's products and methods. Training and support is going to list the types of training and support that's going to be provided by the franchisor to the franchisee. And specific operational requirements. These are methods and standards a franchisee is required to follow. Conflict resolution. This is going to provide the manner in which a franchisor and the franchisee handles the disputes. And assigned territory. This is the geographic area in which the franchisee operates and exclusivity of rights in that area. So those are your key terms in a franchise agreement. And this concludes Chapter 6. Let me know if you have any questions.